Good evening, dandies. Welcome to Undetermined, the podcast.
Triskaidekaphobia. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I was reading a little bit about it today. Just the history of it and shit.
Who famous has it?
I don't know.
That's a good question.
That is a good question. I don't think it's a diagnosis necessarily. I think it's just a generalized phobia that's in the, what is that, Matt? The DSMV or
the DSM? Yeah.
Yeah, the DSM.
13.
5.
DSM
Yeah, the V is a
13.
5.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. I don't know. I don't read that shit.
No.
But I do know that the word triskaidekaphobia means the fear of the number 13, and it is Friday the 13th.
Whoa.
What could
We
possibly
just
go
did our
wrong?
Halloween episode.
Yeah.
We had Halloween.
Yeah, we had Halloween.
Sort of.
Sort of. Yeah, it's still kind of going on.
I got a couple trick-or-treaters.
Did
I was
you?
surprised, yeah.
We didn't get many. We got like I think one carload of about 5 showed up at once, and that was it. And then I had a shit ton of candy left over.
Yeah, I still have some.
Yeah, I just gave it all to my kid. Just said, "Here you go," because they didn't go anywhere. It was weird. It was different. It was a different Halloween. It's a different everything.
And it seems like it's going to be for a little while.
A minute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep.
According to the news today.
What do you see in the news today?
Oh, it's one of those, we've crossed a threshold we can no longer turn back from
Right.
kind of headline.
Yeah, it's getting bad. I don't know. It remains to be seen. No, it doesn't. I don't know what I'm saying. We're seeing it.
We're seeing it.
Seeing it
It's
for
here.
quite a few months.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
And,
Well, those of us that don't have our heads up our asses are seeing it.
yeah, there's kind of lucky. There's not as much denial in my general vicinity.
Mm-hmm.
There's some, but it's not as heavy as I see if I drive 40 miles out of town,
Right. Yeah.
And then it's pretty obvious. People don't really care, or it's hard, people, there's so much strange messaging over this health issue.
Oh, I know.
Mhm.
And mostly
Well,
only in our country.
Well, we've managed to make everything political. It doesn't matter what it is. Christmas, there's a war on it now.
Of course. Somebody needs to tell them that the Walmart won that war. They put the flag in the hill. Absolutely. But hey, before we get too far in the weeds on that,
Yeah.
we're talking to Nathan
Nathan
Calhoun. Hey, welcome.
Yay. Well, yeah, definitely.
Thanks for having me, y'all.
Yeah, man, we're glad to have you on. I'm a big fan of We Are the Asteroid, and of course, you're working Butthole Surfers and other things. But man, I'm really digging everything I'm listening to from WATA.
Yeah.
Love it. It's great stuff. Was just listening to What a Wonderful World all week. I've been binging that.
Yeah, that seems like it came out so long ago, but I guess it really didn't. We rushed production because of an impending tour, and I think like maybe 3 days after it got sent to the press, everything, the whole world got canceled.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
And having so recording has kind of been pretty much all we can do right now, and so we've recorded so much since then. It seems weird to think that that's only a record that's been out 2 months or something.
Yeah. Well, from the outside, it looks like you're staying busy.
We're trying. It's kind of settled into the everything's canceled mode. I know other people have gotten ambitious about next year, but I just don't know, about trying to book a trip out of the
That
country
is
or anything.
so weird to see like people announcing dates a year in advance.
I know. And I even wonder about, they're announcing pretty large festivals in England and
Oh yeah.
pretty much only
Right.
England. But, I just don't know if that's a way just to get pre-sale tickets and then
Yeah, maybe.
tell people to, oops, sorry. Or if they actually they think that those are going to happen. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty strange.
It is.
And I know people that are buying tickets to, go see the Damned reunion and stuff
Right.
like that.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
they're in on it.
So many of us, especially that love music, are itching. It's just a terrible itch that we cannot scratch the way we want to right now.
I know. And I've attempted to go to the, distant, I like to call them a picnic table show, People are kind of like a picnic. And it's hard. It's hard to sit at a picnic table and 500 feet from a band. And I can see it being good for certain genres. Would probably work better, like jazz but
Sure.
it's hard for anything that you feel better crowded in a room with a capacity of 80 would be a lot better than a field with
200. Yeah.
that could hold 1,000 and has 80. It's really it's strange, and I don't slight anybody for doing it. I understand
I
the
know.
desire to play and
Yeah.
the desire to have
You do what
people
you
in your business, because clubs, especially here where rents have just blown past any reasonable amount, it's hard to keep a club open.
Yeah.
Traditionally, Austin was really cheap. You could rent a place for $600 a month and have a club at one time. But people are paying $10,000-$20,000 in rent a month, and I don't know how they're going to make it.
That's insane.
It is.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Is it all just South by Southwest kind of?
No, that South by Southwest is, it's been phasing music out in its own way. I think it's been planning for a while, and this just could be me talking out my ass, but I've heard, and I kind of believe from what I've seen, they're leaning more towards their tech conference and the education conference, and the music part of it that started it is less and less.
That's weird. It's almost like Amazonish in evolution. It sounds
where
like
they got away from the books,
right?
Yeah, I don't know, and then they had problems where it got really big. I think that kind of made them rethink things too. I'm not sure,
Right. Maybe the tech conferences aren't quite as going to destroy the townish.
Yeah, I don't know if it's that or it's just a safer bet. You're not going to have tech side parties that, where
Right.
all the extra stuff that goes along with it. That it's just safer, I think, because the newspaper the local paper that ran the festival forever sold it to somebody else, and I'm just not sure how that's going to play out, especially after they canceled it this year. And I think next year they've already planned on doing it as a virtual thing. So
how do you even call it that anymore if it's virtual?
I don't know. But that's, tech is virtual. So I guess that part would be pretty all right. But the clubs here is mostly the rent issue is just the amount of people moving here and locations being hard to get.
Yeah. I mean, from an outsider perspective, there seems to be this kind of diaspora that's going on to Texas in particular, and Austin, where you see a lot of people in the entertainment industry, like fleeing these cities. And, it's weird to me because it's like, okay, people, we could get this under control, I think, within at least a couple of years. But
people were fleeing here, have been for
a while.
Yeah, I'd say 10 years.
Yeah.
It's because of the simple cost to whatever ratio. They're traditionally, I lived in a house here where the whole place, we paid, a relatively large house. It was $200 a month.
Wow.
Sometimes the landlord would lose it to the bank and wouldn't charge. It'd go 8 months without paying, and then he'd come back and be like, "I got the house back, but you don't owe me any back rent. Just."
Oh man,
And that was really, conducive to barely working and being in a band and stuff. And now where it's like, people, I know young people that move here have to have 3 and 4 jobs to
that's wrong.
get by. So, and a lot of the older musicians, cut for Memphis or Dallas or, wherever else they could find a place to live because I don't think they really feel welcome here.
Yeah.
And there's some of us, like all the members of We Are the Asteroid are pretty fortunate to have relatively inexpensive, got here and kind of got a place to live that stayed so we can manage, and it's kept our ability to stay here. And we're almost trapped here in that way too, because we're homeowners,
Yeah.
But it's, I'm still here. I don't know what the too much threshold. I think that's different for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My neighborhood's starting to get a little too uppity though, so I don't know.
Yeah. Spoiling a good thing. God. I hear you, man.
Well, they put in a
That's the time to-
sidewalk. I mean, sidewalks really are bad. I just wish they wouldn't have put the sidewalk in. It was so nice when there weren't people walking by with their babies on the sidewalk.
Yeah, they would have had to keep those babies on the street.
Yeah. Walk down the street or
They
don't
hold
come
on.
down the street at all.
Yep, would have been more dangerous. Less babies. That's official.
Time to throw a concert in the front yard.
Yeah.
There's across the street, they've had a couple. There's members of some bands that have had some, did their little yard streaming. I could go on the porch and listen, and it's kind of nice. It's real nice to hear a band practice at a house again. That's something that's kind of left here too, where you used to always hear bands coming out of houses if you rode your bike around and stuff. And during the pandemic, it's been a little throwback to how things kind of were with that. So you hear somebody practicing, and it doesn't matter what it is. You don't go, "Oh, God damn it, I don't want to hear them." It's like, oh,
Right.
That's great.
Well,
Thank you for doing that.
Right.
More
That is
appreciative.
weird. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's weird. I mean, I live in a little college town. It's like that too, where it's like I was driving downtown just the other day. And it's like I realized I never have to drive downtown, or I never drive downtown for anything anymore. So much shit has changed. So many things are boarded up and different. I just didn't hear that.
Are you in Colorado Springs?
No, I'm in Columbia, Missouri.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and Matt's in Kansas City. So
All right.
yeah, we're both Missouri guys. But yeah, it's just like a college town in the summer. It's always like that. All the smells, the restaurants and the bands playing and everything else like that. It's like, my God, I haven't even been downtown and I don't know how long. And when I did, I was just blowing through in my car, and it's like, geez, it was just, it was more depressing to see, I think, than it would have been if I just stayed home and acted like it wasn't there.
Right.
Yeah, it's changing. I think everywhere. Definitely is in Kansas City.
Yeah.
Kansas City.
Yeah,
I like Kansas City.
me too. It's a good town.
I thought about here with the boarded up, it's kind of neat because, well, in the center of town, that's kind of the way it was. It was desolate, and it's like, oh, look, it's back to 1989 again.
Right.
It's a ghost town with just the homeless. So in some ways, you'd think, oh, wow, I could rent a building and have a cheap club, but that's not the reality. They're boarded up still with super high rents.
Right.
So
Yep.
And nobody would show up.
No,
They couldn't.
they're struggling.
I have a secret fantasy. There's a building in Kansas City that I used to work close to, and I drive by it all the day. And it's like this old movie theater, and it's been boarded up for ages. You can tell. I really, man, and it's in a shitty neighborhood. I want to buy it so bad, but it would still, even for a rundown piece of shit theater, I bet it would be, $500,000 to $1 million.
Easily. Yeah.
Oh,
in a bad
cool
neighborhood.
to have it. Borrow the money.
Yeah. I'm buying a house this next week anyway, I don't think.
We'll start a GoFundMe.
Yeah, we should.
Help Matt go bankrupt.
But we would definitely have some concerts there. We'd have some shows there.
Yeah, shows. I don't know about shows.
Have you been thinking about that? Like, okay, let's say next year this shit is still raging on. Are there going to be alternatives? Are there going to be ways to continue what you're doing? I mean,
Well, yeah, and it'll be over. I know that. But it's like, I had a conversation with an old friend who still plays and tours a lot, and we kind of came to the same conclusions. Like, even when it's over, there are going to be a lot of people fighting there going to be 7 deep holds on a Monday night at the clubs you used to play. I mean, people are just going to be dying to go on tour, and smaller bands are going to have a really hard time.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be the OCs every night at some place. So I think it's going to be a really weird situation, even when it does come back.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that. Like, all the bands trying to backbank,
Yeah. And, and all the bands that did travel are going to have if you're not the clubs are going to want a big draw. It's going to be a weird thing. And I think a lot of people are just going to have to, even no matter how big you are, going to have to play for the door. Those big guarantees are kind of going to have to be a thing of the past. It's going to work out in a weird way, but there could be advantages to it too. I just wonder the length of holding out. How many people are just going to go, I can't do this. I can't wait.
Right. Yeah.
Like, we have we rent a place, and it's a couple rooms, and it's in like an office complex. So we have a place to record and practice, and we can kind of keep ourselves busy. But I know a lot of people that have given up on their practice places at this point. They're just like, we can't be paying for this. Can't justify that. And so, but then I also know that some of the practice places are completely booked out and full. So, it's weird. A lot of people use it as, even if they're not playing, they want to go play. So
right.
Even if it's just practice or whatever, how long that'll hold people's attention, I think it actually will. Like, there's some people that just can't stop. And so,
right.
I'm curious. Yeah. It's, you guys well know it's all up in the air.
Yeah. Everything is. I do think people are going to be a little bit remiss, though, about entertainment and not. I hope this is the case. Just not putting enough money and enough effort into it. When later they say, "Where's all the music?" and where's all, just waiting for this jubilee, to start up as soon as everything is like, well, you fuckers, you didn't pay them,
right?
Well, they're all working at McDonald's, so.
Well, on that note, at least at this point in the game, however many months we're in, I've been surprised the amount of support that has come from people that a lot of times they wouldn't show up at shows and stuff, but they've been real supportive during this crisis and getting merch and records and stuff and I think it's kind of across the board now. As money runs thinner depending on how things go. I don't know how long they can keep that up.
Right.
I noticed for myself, I've had to slow down on buying people's T-shirts and records and like.
Right.
No, it's killing me too, because I want to do it more than ever, and I can afford to do it less than ever.
I know.
In some ways.
and maybe I haven't stopped, but now I might think about it for a day before I do it or something.
Right.
It's like I can see how it's going, and I figure that it's probably a lot of people in that position. Like, oh shit, I can't be buying more records.
Yeah. Well, it stands out on the budget more, I think, when you're looking at it coming out of your bank account as opposed to like just having cash in your pocket and going to a show.
Yeah.
But it's like, we try to do that as much as possible. It's like, I keep thinking, okay, if I'm not spending as much money on this or that, like back when we were completely shut down, I was like, I'm not paying for gas to go to work and I have a long commute, and I was like, well, shit, that's, and I've got an older truck. It uses a bunch of gas. I'm like, well, I could, it's $20 a day. And it's like, I can buy a CD. I can buy a t-shirt, I can buy, but then it starts, ooh, my wife starts noticing. It's like Bandcamp.
Well, what's going on here?
Yeah. Just trying to help out.
Bandcamp's done. I'm happy they did their monthly fee waiving, and I think that's beneficial to them also that they've done that kind of proactive thing, because it's definitely made more people use it as a platform to purchase things. They
seem like they're really flourishing right now, which I'm thankful for. I
would think so, because like I bought the new X record. I bought it through Bandcamp. That's strange. And same with I got a Sub Pop record or something recently, and it came through Bandcamp. It's like I started thinking like that's they're being helped by their way they're doing their business. And I'm not a big fan of streaming. I understand it, and I think it's great for people that love to get lots of music that way, but I guess I just see the numbers too much in my head, so it's tough. And those platforms don't really seem to support a CEO more than an artist. So
yeah,
but I think they do work in combination. Like, as much as I'll slag something like that, I think there are a lot of people that I didn't realize that will use a service and then also get the product, and it kind of ties together. So we're trying to be open-minded about it, but I just see that 1/100th of a penny per 5,000 shares. Strange.
I think we were talking to, was it Matt Chamberlain we talked to about this?
Yeah.
With who was friends with a guy that was working with Ed Sheeran, and it was on one of his huge songs that was on Spotify.
Yeah, Ed Sheeran,
yeah, Sheeran. I could never say his name right. Anyway, guy got enough to buy a decent car out of it.
Right.
And it's a monster record.
Yeah, 1 billion downloads or whatever. And it was, he got basically a nice Volvo out of the deal. And it was, he was one of the head mixers or, something for the album, just a master producer word. He's just, on a streaming. And, that's a shame. That's a damn shame.
It is.
But,
it's different. It's a different world. I all over, I saw some headline it was yesterday or something that's Mr. Bungle has #1 hard rock.
Yeah, how fucked up is that?
Then you look at the numbers, and you only got to sell 16,000 copies to be a #1 record, and that seems like a flop. Not for them or anything. Definitely not.
No,
for
but
us.
We're thinking
that's our #1 triple platinum. But in the scheme of charts and stuff, I was like, wow, that's really pretty low.
Things are changing. Yeah.
Well, compared to 1989 when they actually released Raging Wrath of the Easter Bunny, and then Faith No More came out, and they probably sold more copies of that back issue of that album, that they made in high school. At that time.
That's a really, that's an interesting number I'd like to see. And the way that time period, I believe you're probably right on that. Because
probably. Hell, I had one, and it
didn't chart.
Right? No, never.
No,
never, not at all.
So when they have those things, that's it's mind boggling that the sales, and that goes along with that thing of they talk about vinyl sales are up, and then you see, well, it's just because all sales are down.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, vinyl's up compared to CDs, but both of them are 1/20th of what they were 10 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
100th of what they were. So it's,
I don't know.
I see a lot of record stores opening up, a lot of vinyl shops.
That's great. I think that's a really great thing too.
And they seem to be staying open. I haven't seen a lot of them shutting down yet, especially through this. So I'm encouraged by that. I may be missing something and it could totally go south.
Yeah.
But I'm seeing more. And I know I make an effort to buy vinyl. That's just kind of something I've, in the last few years, like I really like the tactile element.
Yeah, and going to the stores too is a cool thing, to go to the actual, physical location. And which is obviously difficult now. Something you got to finger through everything, and
right,
it's a little bit strange. The ours have been really pretty much closed. They'll bring a record out to your car.
Weird.
So I think last week one of the big local ones did open back up, but it looks like we're heading back to stage whatever soon.
Yeah.
So it's tough.
And I know the ones here, they'll have a sign on the door, only so many people in the store at a time, and keep your mask on and stay 6 feet apart. So they enforce some standards.
Yeah, I think that's what they're doing here too. It's just like limited number of people, and of course, I think that'd be about the same number of people.
Yeah, record stores,
right?
They're rarely crowded.
You're right.
Yeah, it's not National Record Mart anymore.
Right. Wow, man, that was a weird era, wasn't it? Back when you had those record stores, just people in and out, just. Man,
they were busy too.
Yeah,
they were busy.
Matt, you worked at a Camelot, didn't you?
I worked at Camelot,
right.
Yeah, years ago. Yeah, back in the day. Yeah.
Yep, it was a job. I got to work in music. That was enough. But I was always jealous. You're right. I always wanted to be like the guy in High Fidelity or something like that.
You're right.
It's kind of like Beavis and Butthead wearing their, AC/DC t-shirts, and I'm here with my Winger t-shirt on.
They used to have to. There was a record store in the college town in Pennsylvania I lived in, and it was in a basement.
Mm-hmm.
And starting about 12. I would just sit on the stairs into the store and read the magazines and bother the people that work there all day. And at some point they'd be like, "Calhoun, your mom's calling, get out of here." I'd be back the next day, and I spent a couple years doing that and sitting down there, and it was cool.
You're getting an education though.
Well, mostly I was reading bad guitar magazines and stuff, but those guys were all playing pretty cool records. They were, mostly jazz and blues heads, but they'd bring in all kind of stuff, and I'd always get to pick through the stuff that just came in. It was a used record store too, so or whatever they got brand new, I'd pick through, and it was kind of a cool thing. I'm glad to see that they're having that independent record stores have come back now. Everything kind of disappeared with all the towers and everything closing, and now the places that are opening are pretty much mom and pops. It's not a national chain thing.
Yeah, I'm not seeing a lot of chain stuff around here.
Although they have them in Target and Best Buy and weird stuff like that.
I bought a fucking record in Aldi last year.
Wow.
What record was
that weird? It was
you have to bring your own sleeve or something.
Put a 25 cent, put a quarter in the
It was Foo Fighters. It was like the best of Foo Fighters.
Best of Foo Fighters
record, and it was like a good quality. It was a thick
pressing, right?
Yeah, it sounded pretty decent.
Right on.
But I fucking got my Foo Fighters record at
Aldi.
Did it say have an Aldi logo on it? Like when Kiss did that Psycho Circus or something like that, and they're go get out the record at Walmart every night.
Wait, now that I look at this, there's a D on the end of foo. What?
Food fighters.
I used to get a lot of those. It was at one of those old time department stores, Murphy's, CG Murphy's, or one of those.
Yeah.
And it had out in the basement the remnants of the 50s and 60s record department that was there, and they still had stuff, but they'd have a lot of those like off-brand. You're not sure if it was the real band thing,
Right.
and you could, but also mixed in there, they would have weird 45s and 10 inches and stuff of bands like the Kinks that weren't. I don't know if they were really bootlegs or they were kind of strange copies of things. Usually really bad fidelity, especially on the
floppy
cassettes were really bad. But they were shopliftable too, so it was kind of things.
Yep.
Whoa, hey! And in the same area, they had cartons of cigarettes were still out. So if you were a teenage smoker, you could have one guy carrying the backpack, and you could throw a couple cassettes and a carton in there and get out before they got you.
Back when they had cigarette machines, kids these days they'll never know. Yeah, 38 cents
smoking at school. Get a pass. That was good.
Yeah. I think it was like here in the Midwest, it was like Ben Franklin stores.
Yeah, we had those.
They had those floppy singles. They were like paper thin or whatever. I remember those things. And they were like, you could just shake them and they were just like flap, like sheets of plastic. And they last for like, I don't know, maybe 10 plays.
Yeah.
Or
you'd get like cereal boxes.
Shit like that, yeah.
Yeah, I ate so much cereal I didn't like to get.
Just to get the single.
Especially when they had those ones. So I think it was probably Honeycombs or Sugar Bear. And he had, they had these monster, like kind of like Universal Horror Monster records they would put on there, like the Haunted House and stuff like that. That
scary sounds.
But there was a rule, if we got a cereal, you had to finish the box before you could get another one, and that was painful. Painful.
Yeah. Couldn't stick your hand down in there, and they'd put it like in the cereal, not like
or you cut it off the box.
Right.
You cut the back of the box off and played it. It didn't even work, but you always suck it into the next. Like, this one's going to work.
Yep. Because the artwork was good enough. You saw the Creature of the Black Lagoon on there or whatever.
Yeah, it's large format, like an LP, right in your face.
The healthy cereals never had anything good that came with it. What the fuck was their problem?
Think about that. They didn't even have good packaging, really.
Right. No. So, well, you know what? Kicks they kind of fucked with you a little bit. Like you look at the box and think good. That might be okay, and then you try and be like, "Fuck this."
Somebody took the flavor.
There's not nearly enough sugar in this shit.
Trix lost its flavor and color. It became Kicks. Why? It's a gateway cereal.
It's a gateway. That's funny.
Eating Captain Crunch before you know it.
I do. I have severe lack of teeth because of all that shit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And, well, all kind of other stuff, too. But I'll blame it on that.
Right.
The Captain Crunch, god damn it.
Sugar daddies.
Corporation.
Sugar babies.
Yeah, that's when they used to advertise sugar and all that shit too. Now it's like,
honey.
Honey or
went from Sugar Smacks to Honey Smacks.
Yep.
But you can get like a yogurt or whatever, and it has more sugar than a Hershey bar in it. They just don't mention that to you.
Yeah.
But it's a pandemic. You got to eat what you can.
That's right.
Did you know that there's more lemon? This is just kind of a random thing that reminded me of. There's more lemon in Lemon Pledge than there is in Country Time Lemonade.
Oh my God. Is that true?
I believe it.
Yeah, I looked it up.
Because isn't it like zero lemon in Country Time? I think I've read that on the can, like 0 lemon. It's just lemon flavor, 0 lemon. Pledge
that's
probably has
awful.
something.
Wow.
You ever drink Pledge though?
No.
It's not really good.
Yeah, probably not good.
I'd been drinking something else first, but yeah.
Pledge.
Strange.
I hear it'll get rid of COVID though if you do that.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to shoot it up. But I didn't say that.
They had a
pretty basic.
they were selling some kind of virus killing flashlight at a discount store I was at the other day. And I was like, well, this is straight off the news. It's like,
Right.
And it was strange. You really thought, like, do I stick it up my ass? It's a
Right.
long wand.
Yeah, someone's rebranding like selfie sticks.
And it was at like a high end discount. Like those like fancy stores that has a sub store for last year's thing or whatever. So it's like, oh man, are they trying to fool these people into the virus killing flashlight?
Yeah, that can't be real.
No.
Although I've got this filter though, and it's like this. It came from my in-laws bought it. It's like this, this like air filter thing, and it was like triple filter, HEPA, shit like that, and it's got a UV light on it. It's like, passes the air through the blue light. And this thing was made like 15 years ago or whatever. It's an old one that I have. But yeah, they were selling that shit back then, like violet rays. I don't know if that's real. It can't be real. That can't be real.
It looks cool.
Yeah, it does.
I imagine it does something. I just don't think it's going to stop somebody blowing it.
Right, you're just not going to
cough in your face. But if you get sick, you could sit on it and see what happens.
Or you could just blame that you didn't sit on it, and that's the. God damn it! If I'd only sat on that thing. But yeah, I can't imagine walking through my house with that light just shining it on my doorknobs and.
Yeah, you don't want to know.
Who's that guy?
But you see, the simple things that have become so taboo to people here, like wearing a mask, and the countries that, have always worn masks, like the Vietnamese or the Japanese.
Yeah, there's not a problem in Tokyo, for instance.
And the subways never shut down there. They friends there, and the train. There's still people on the trains. They're packed up, and they really just always have a thing about they're not hugging and kissing each other, and they're moving and wearing their mask and washing their hands, and that's kind of how they've done it ever since the 1918 thing. It's kind of started it, and so it's not a problem. I don't know how it became equated with freedom.
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess French fries got equated with freedom back.
Because my feeling is it evolved from I'm the president who the only thing I have to speak on is the economy. And if I lose the economy, I got nothing else. And if we shut down for everybody's health, then it's going to hit the economy and I got nothing.
Right.
So I'm going to deny that this is going on because I can't afford to lose the economy. Because if I do that, then I'm not going to be reelected. And I got to be reelected because I'm going to fucking prison if I don't get reelected.
It almost worked.
It almost.
Yeah.
Really.
So close.
Really a close plan was probably his only play,
Right.
No, that is his only play.
So
I don't blame him for doing it. I hold a lot of people as fucking idiots if they're buying into it.
Right.
Yeah, that's the hard part. It's like, why would you believe?
Yeah.
How on earth?
Yeah.
And that's willful ignorance to an extent that it is just hard to grasp.
I think it's an eye-opener here for especially people like me that pretty much live in a bubble. I'm in a kind of a ultra liberal bubble all the time for years and years and years.
Right.
I'll go to I'll travel and go to towns and go to the convenience store, the motel or whatever, but not really in a daily contact with people that are like that. And so to see so many, it really brought up all kind of questions to me, like what happened to education, what happened to
Right.
People just not being completely insane. And then I turn back to the thing. It's like the guys that invented the internet, and even guys like Bill Gates that started with software and stuff. It's like, did they really think that these scientific advancements would actually have such a negative impact on science? It's straight out of a movie.
And I'm wondering what's going to happen. I'm really curious to see what's going to happen with this whole parlor movement that's going on right now.
It'll die.
Yeah,
I'm thinking that people are going to get there and look around and be like, I don't have any liberals to argue with, and this place is getting fucking creepy.
Right.
That's what I think's going to happen.
I imagine it'll get creepy real fast. I'm not one of those people that will get something like that to look at it. I kind of
exactly.
I don't want to know kind of person, and it's so I know people that have already got on there just to see, and I don't know that kind of. I was like, oh, I don't know.
I had a wave of family members sending out like this is my ID. This is okay.
Well,
and it won't see me there, and that they don't want to see me there. Or they don't think they want to see me there.
I think they do though. Because they need somebody to fight with.
Right. And I think it's sort of a tantrum in some regard, and I'm not going, but it's the same reason why I never followed like at Donald Trump on Twitter.
Yes,
it's it's like I'm sure I'm going to get it in the news. I don't need it in my feed.
Somebody will retweet it to you.
Yes, somebody will retweet it, and I don't need to give the guy one more follower. I don't need to give him one more bit of attention, because I always kind of thought throughout his entire presidency, if we just ignored him, he thrives on that attention, and that's a behavior thing. And I just thought, if we just stop, if we just ignored him, if we didn't give him the attention, he might go away, or he might strive to get attention,
change the change the
narrative.
way of narrative of attention. Did you all watch the after school special Social Dilemma on Netflix?
I haven't seen that. No.
It just came out. It's all about social media, and it's a docudrama. Okay, if you haven't seen it, then I won't spoil it. But it's
no,
people are up in like, oh my gosh, because it's supposed to be one of these take the lid off the social media companies and see what they're doing. But to me, it just reminded me of one of those after school specials about marijuana or something. It was kind of a little.
Don't do Facebook, kids.
It's really scary, but I don't think it's quite as evil as they tried to make it sound. A lot of ex-employees,
or not as deliberately evil anyway. I think they're motivated in ways that can lead to poor decisions.
Sure, and it lines pockets, and
right.
But I think they felt that way about the radio.
Right.
Radio.
I mean,
and like, the radio. So now it's the social media.
Trains are going 45 miles an hour. Your body's going to come apart.
Exactly. I'm just not buying it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm hopeful that these, even all this lapse in belief, that there's going to be at some point where this conspiracy everywhere, every day thing has just got to subside.
Right. There's going to, whatever it is.
Fatigue or something. I mean, it's got to be.
Yeah.
The McCarthy moment, right? Where at long last, have you got no shame? It's going to happen at some point. It's going to happen in some way. I don't know exactly.
That's a good analogy. Is that because I think we're getting just to like the ultimate point of dumbness. Like it can't. And now I'll probably be like, oh, you shouldn't have said this. But I don't think it can really go out much further out, And they're like at the point where it's baby eating and and
Yeah.
and like
All of
drugs,
the things that
drugs that were made up in Hunter S. Thompson books, and now real
Yeah.
drugs that people are
Yeah.
after, and it's like, whoa,
People are eating people's pineal glands, and
yeah,
they're not.
from beyond. You know,
Right.
it's like I saw this in a movie. This is
Right.
not real.
But they are fucking up the environment like a lot. And like, what happened to that?
That's a conspiracy. God damn.
Right.
Yeah, and I've run into smart people, older people, that I would just never imagine could believe the Fox narrative on climate change or even this election. It's like they'll quickly spout out the straight from the news, and then I wonder, is that just me? What?
No.
It's hard. It's you're like, you're good. Thank
It's
you.
not.
Why? How can these people have? This guy's my dentist. I mean, it's like, why?
Right.
Why does he believe this?
Yeah, yeah, and it's that sort of projection too. I mean, hell, it's hence the name of your band.
Yeah,
yeah.
Our name was an accident that clicked, and then it's come to, it continually changes into something different. That I'm really surprised on how that one worked out, because it's like
it's still relevant.
Yeah, well, it can continue to be in different ways,
right?
And so I did do that. We'll go play. We've played a lot of places, and you'll see people have trouble spelling the word asteroid, and it's always Asteroid, or it doesn't have the E, so it's asteroid. And I have a hard time giving them too much shit, because when I bought the domain name, I spelled it wrong the first time. I mean, I figured it out in like 3 minutes. I was like, oh shit, I got this one for a year too. But that really, that story that I heard about that, which was at that time, they were just talking about the 5 extinctions that have happened on the planet, and then the 6th one was going to be human created, but there's all kind of moments now where it's like, oh, we are the asteroid.
Yeah.
And then we were really lucky that those artists took that. I don't know if y'all got it in Kansas City or Columbia. They had that light up LED sign they were taking around that said "We are the asteroid," and putting it out in fields and on piers, and it was the best press ever.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah,
totally, right. Totally free.
People were like, "Did you do this?" And I was like, "Cut me a break." I wish.
Right, you can't, and that's the sort of thing. It feels like you can't just.
They even hacked some road signs and stuff. I was like, wow,
that's awesome.
Yeah, I saw a photo of it on I-70 going through Colorado through the Rockies. There's a beautiful mountain shot beyond it, and
I haven't seen that one.
The asteroid. Yeah, I saw it come up when I was checking out pictures and stuff. I'll share it.
All right,
I'll put it out on social media.
That's
when we promote it. It's just a beautiful mountain shot,
because I'm not usually that lucky to have a idea that actually would do. So wow, somebody put that on a billboard.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
They don't need to know what to do when the brakes go out in the mountains. They'll be fine.
Yeah, they'll be good.
But that was those guys, I think, were strictly climate, not the opposite of deniers.
Right. Proponents.
Well, I don't know if proponents.
I don't know. No, well, not. Well,
they trying to change the climate.
Yeah.
But the believers.
Good climate proponents. Believers, yeah.
And that's, it was hard to watch the news today that they say it's no turning back from the virus. It's just, oh God, it just sounds like climate change too, so it's.
Yeah.
So here we go.
Yeah, that's disheartening. I mean, I don't think that helps. It doesn't help the situation at all. It just scares the shit out of everybody. But,
well, it scares some people, and then it makes others be like, "Oh, look at this fake news."
Exactly. Yeah, you're either gonna be scared, or you're gonna project, and you're gonna get angry, and you're gonna be,
right. And how dare you tell me I'm wrong? I'm going to Parlor.
Right. And Parlor's like, cha-ching. Yeah.
All right.
We're not going to tell you you're wrong.
Yeah.
That's basically it.
Yeah.
But doesn't just Mr. Twitter own it or something, isn't it? Probably,
Probably.
you know.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. They're at least got
Created
stock.
another record label for fake competition with the other record label.
Betting on the back end. Mhm.
Scaring people back to the main one.
Whew.
I'm not a tweeter anyway, so maybe I should probably start tweeting. I'm starting to try to be a TikToker. I was real impressed with it, but I couldn't get the gist of it.
I haven't even looked at it. How's that going?
Not good.
Yeah.
Failure.
Yeah,
Complete failure.
I don't understand. I am realizing how old
I tried one and it got
No.
banned.
Oh, that's what I hear.
Immediately.
That's what I hear. It's like on Facebook, everybody's like, well, my first TikTok is screwed. I'm no longer allowed on this.
Yeah, so I was like,
That's all I see.
And it wasn't, there was no cuss words it had menstrual blood, but that's part of life.
Yeah.
So
It's biology.
And it wasn't like, no
that's
nudity
not
or
vulgar.
anything. It was considered vulgar, I guess.
Well, that reminds me of like being back, speaking of, working in the music field, sort of. I did radio and record stores. And one of the stations I worked at, we had to play an edited version of Lightning Crashes by Live because it said placenta. And it took out the word placenta.
Wow, that's a good one. Why would they take that out?
Because people are grossed out by the thought of placenta, apparently.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just the way that guy said it.
I don't know. And we're going to have to work on how you...
It does, yeah. It does fall to the floor.
Placenta. People are word that, and like the thing with how it's been like that forever here is tits are like illegal,
right?
And that's I know it's an old story or whatever. You could turn on and people can get their heads chopped off on TV, on on Sunday morning cartoon even. But a tit is like,
oh, Jesus. Yeah.
Yep.
So
I was listening to a really interesting podcast the other day. Blind Boy, he's out of Ireland.
Rubber Bandits.
We got turned on to him recently. And he was talking about like the feeling this weird shame not having a mask on in public. It was akin to like not having your pants on in public.
Not that he's like an anti-masker, but he was just
he's a definite anti-pantser though.
Right. Right.
But like just that awkwardness that you might feel if you went out with no pants on, he felt going out, and he like had to switch his mask around and just kind of realized at the moment, he took it off, even if it was for like 10 seconds. Right. Oh my gosh, I'm exposed in public right now.
Right. And then relating that to anti-maskers and saying how that's probably why they get
really proud flashers.
Right.
Lance Rensel.
Right to show. Yeah.
Right. Wasn't that his name? Lance Rensel from the Dallas Cowboys. No pants Lance.
No pants Lance. That's right.
What was the name? He had a book about that. It's like when laughter turns to sorrow or something.
I don't know this.
It was like a 70s Dallas Cowboy star.
Yeah.
He got caught with his pants down literally in a playground or something. And
awesome.
It went real south.
Not that's not awesome. I'm going to take that back.
Awesome. But the book title is quite good.
Yeah. It's not No Pants Lance.
And I don't know if it's any good. One time I was in a place I wasn't, I got put there by the police, and I decided to read the Tex Watson book was there in the book cart in the place. And and it was under the auspices of it was going to be about his turning Christian and becoming a good guy and all the shit. But there was like 200 pages, and 198 pages were about killing people and hanging out with Charlie Manson. And then there was 2 pages at the end about him getting
Praise the Lord.
And then Jesus came.
So I just kind of wonder if the Lance book is like that too. If it's just like 190 pages of taking his pants off, and then 2 pages about it being sorry.
Yeah, that sounds like.
But that's how they
Following
sneak
Donald.
those books into jail, you know, so you can get something to read.
Exactly. Yeah. That kind of sounds like me following Donald Trump on Twitter. I don't think I'm going to read that book. I don't think I want to know.
Oh, poor
Just don't read the end.
Yeah. Well, he tried.
Yep.
Laughter turns to sorrow.
That's on the level almost of the
Oh, what was the other one?
OJ book. If I did it,
The one I haven't been able to
if
get
I
a copy of, and they're really expensive, is a Three Dog Nightmare. The singer from Three Dog Night, exploded his penis, shooting coke into it all the time. And
Oh my God. Yeah.
he wrote a book like that. And
wow.
Did he?
if you look
Well, I
on
wanna read
Amazon,
that
you can
now.
only get it. It's like there's no digital copy, and a physical copy goes for like $100. They're hard to find.
Oh,
I remember,
wow.
I remember when they came out, they're kind of giving them away. I guess it became like a cult favorite because
Wow.
it's hard to find.
I've got to read that shit now. That sounds
Three
amazing.
Dog Nightmare.
That's crazy.
I guess he has a real good sense of humor about it now. So
Now, wow. You'd almost have to after a while if you're still alive.
he's an inspirational speaker.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
Yes, he
bullshit.
is. Look him up.
Is he? No. Oh my God.
That's what the Googler tells me.
Poor fella. I wonder what kind of money Three Dog Night.
Well, they were
You know,
huge.
they can buy you like
They were really, really
Yeah,
big.
they were.
But
really
it was
good.
also the time when a lot of people were, giving 80% to the company and management
Right.
and stuff. So I don't know how
Right.
savvy they were.
Well, this is kind of just a side story. I dated a girl whose dad swore up and down he wrote one of their songs.
Wow.
Like one of their hits.
Oh yeah.
Which one was it? Never been to heaven, but I've been to Arizona.
Mhm.
Up in Oklahoma.
Yeah,
That one.
he
Yep.
swears up and down, and he
wrote
told
that
me the
song.
story
Yeah.
of this.
Yeah, you told me that.
That he wrote it when he was in college, and he had a buddy that was heading out to California, just trying to make it as a songwriter, singer, and he's like, I just gave him a few of my songs to take with him, and never thought anything about it. It was just, it was out of my hands, and then I heard it on the radio one day, and his attitude was kind of cool. Like he's like, I decided I could get pissed about it, but I thought it was pretty cool that my song did something.
Yeah.
Tell him not to go to court, because if Led Zeppelin won that case,
Right.
nobody-
Oh my God.
Like I didn't know much about that until I heard the song, and I was like, "Oh my! How can they lose?"
Right.
And they,
Yeah. But I mean, Jesus. Well, not that they ripped it off, but I mean, Zeppelin covered so many blue standards.
Yeah.
And
but that
that made their career in the first place.
that one, they went on tour with the band, and they
Right.
took the riff.
And they took the fucking song, right? Yeah.
Like the one every
Yeah.
little kid plays
While
in the
they're playing.
guitar store. It's like this other guy wrote it.
Yeah.
How-
Yeah, it's pretty uncanny. You watch that video, where they play it side by side, and it's like, yeah, I think,
That's what I thought.
yeah.
Then you got other guys that write songs. It's like I was listening to Willie Nelson on the interview the other day, and he talks about he sold Crazy, I think, for $250, and
Oh wow.
and Nightlife and Hello Walls, a couple of those. He sold them for like $200-$300, and they asked him like, "Aren't you mad?" And he's like, "No, I needed the money, and I could just write another one," which he did.
Yeah.
So
Right.
kind of like, oh well,
Yeah.
way to go, Willie.
Kind of like Porter Wagner pimping out Roger Miller.
Yeah.
No, Roger Miller. Yeah, Roger Miller. Just man, he'd sell everything he ever. Yeah, I mean, there was an old rumor in Nashville anyway. Just buy Roger a pint, he'll write you a song.
He was a prolific songwriter.
Oh yeah, and a great songwriter.
Some of those guys, and then get all bent out. I don't know how. I guess when it became a thing where you really made a lot of money, that
When it became a commodity.
a huge
Yeah.
commodity. But they're all companies were always making money off those guys. You know, they'd have writers in the Brill building or wherever, and they got a weekly salary, and they just cranked that stuff out. And a lot of people put it to the Beatles, you know, because they're the first one, or not really the first, but the people that would write and perform and be able to keep it all. It really changed things, but I don't know if that's really the nexus of it or whatever.
Well, it certainly comes to the forefront of the wave of what everybody recognizes, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure.
And those guys are just cranking them out too.
Yeah.
But I'm big on the prolific Willie Nelson. I think that's gonna be the one. You know, we lost Rocky Erickson down here and Daniel Johnston the last year or two.
Yeah.
But I think Willie Nelson's passing will be a real.
Ooh, that one's gonna sting.
Oh, that's here.
That's like really the kind of the trilogy of people that made in this different ways and from different eras, I guess you'd say. But
did you guys hear about the big country music Hall of Fame? Was it the country or CMAs or whatever about not recognizing John Prine and his passing?
I didn't know they didn't.
Yeah, they didn't, and like Jason Isbell and a few other people like tore up their membership cards.
Good for them.
Yeah, and said this bullshit. And it's not like it wasn't like oopsie daisy, we kind of forgot about it. You know, it was like, no, we're just not gonna, you know,
because he wasn't considered country.
John Prine. I mean, it's the same old bullshit all over and over again. Of course, he was country, but you know. It's just that not recognizing that element of it. And, you know, I don't know if they want to put songs in there about, you know, a guy sniffing underwear or whatever, even though they're wonderful fucking songs. But it pissed me off. Yeah. Sturgill was really mad about it.
Oh man. Yep.
Yeah. There's a lot of people tearing up their membership.
Do they let?
Yeah, those are the people that I like.
Yeah, as well.
Sturgill Simpson, great. Yeah. Jason Isabel, great.
As well, they fucking should. Yeah,
right.
It's outrageous.
Florida Georgia line, get the fuck out of here.
Do they let the guy with the mask at the CMAs, Orville Peck, or they don't recognize him?
Yeah, probably not. That fuck, I don't know. You know,
he's kind of awesome.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a shame. It's a shame. You know, and I go back and forth on that shit. It's just like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Well, that's always been a vehicle for, you know, I have a hard time with that one because of Jan Wemmer or whatever his name is. It's kind of his thing and he decides everything. And if you look at those horrible Rolling Stone record guides, like we used to have them at the library when I was in school, and you go back and the ones that I would look at, the records they just said were bombs back then. Now are like 5-star records. You know,
exactly.
They hated Black Sabbath. They hated AC/DC.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they just hated that stuff, and they promoted like a lot of really questionable things. And now those same guides, and I've always been wary of tastemakers in that thing. I think that's kind of one of the cooler things about our current conspiratorial thing is it kind of evened the playing field on the critic, you know, makes critics a little less gatekeepers to music, you know. So
yeah,
there's good things and bad things about that. But that I always felt like he kind of controlled the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and saw it as his, you know, used it for personal vendettas and stuff too, which I could be totally wrong, but that's just the way I feel about it.
Yeah. I mean, it's strange. I mean, I was just talking to, we got another episode dropping soon with Betty X, also from Austin. We were talking about Rock and Roll Hall of Fame just on Facebook the other day, and Depeche Mode, I guess, got brought in. People were like, man, fucking Depeche Mode is not rock and roll. And I was like, you know, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is just pretty much the not country Hall of Fame. And if Madonna is in there, whatever, it's like, you know, I get it. It's a sham. It's absolutely a fucking sham. But I like it when my guys get in there, even if I'm, you know, I'm kind of a fucking, I like Depeche Mode. I don't give a fuck. I think it's great. Nine Inch Nails makes it.
Did they end
wonderful.
up letting Cheap Trick in? Did Cheap Trick get in?
I don't know.
They have to.
I don't think they let him in.
They have to.
And I saw the Go-Go's couldn't
maybe
get
not.
in. They wouldn't let the Go-Go's
Oh yeah,
in.
is that right? Yeah.
It's weird. There's certain, the Iron Maiden didn't get in.
Right.
Yeah.
And
But Madonna's there.
that confuses me because, if you play to 90,000 people and it's got guitars and stuff, I think that's
Right.
that's like Super Bowl quality shit, whether you like it or not.
Right. It's not a hard formula, is it? Guitars and shit. I mean, that's pretty much.
And all those people are coming to see it. I mean, whose Hall of Fame is it? Is it the People's or is it Rolling Stone magazines?
Cheap Trick did get in 2016.
They did let them in.
Good.
Kid Rock inducted them.
Did they let him in?
Me a little bit. I don't know. He inducted them.
So they're going to probably put him in there. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I guess he's got Rock in his name, so maybe Chris Rock will get in there too.
I think it was like Charlize Theron, inducted Depeche Mode, I guess, or was it Nine Inch Nails? It was one of those, yeah.
So Depeche Mode's in there.
Depeche Mode's in there.
Is Joy Division in there or New Order?
I don't know.
I don't think they count like things that I don't think the Cramps are in there, are they?
Probably not.
Not a ton of punk in there. Really.
They do have a lot of punk in there, but that's always under the radar. They don't really announce
you'd have
it.
to put the Cramps in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
You'd fucking think so, but I mean, especially Madonna's in there, but I don't know.
I'm confused. But I only see when people are making a stink on their social media, like, "Oh, I can't believe so and so is not in there."
Yeah, yeah. I don't care. Whenever my guy gets in, I don't care. I'm like, "Yay, good for them." I pass it off.
And I like seeing the ones where it's like, "Oh, Deborah Harry didn't let what's his name come play back in the band for the thing," and I'm like, "Oh, I wonder what he did,"
Yep.
Right. Oh, he fucked up.
Well, that was the funny thing with Nine Inch Nails too, because they were like, well, okay, so who else gets in besides Trent? And because the catalog of how many people have been in that band in different, incarnations.
Did Martin Atkins get to go?
I don't think. I think if Martin had made it, we would have known.
That would be cool.
I don't think he did. That would have been.
We'll ask
great.
him next time we talk to him.
But I mean, shit, with Pill and everything,
he should be in.
He should be in there with Pill. Maybe I think
I would put him in.
No,
but I think I would treat it as more of a influential thing than a
right.
Martin, you're in my rock and roll hall.
Like I would put, Doug Somm in the Country Hall of Fame too, and
sure.
I don't know if they put Graham Parsons in there, but I'd put him in there. I think people's influence on other people is, more important. They should have, two categories: sales and fans, and then
sure,
some kind of. But it doesn't seem like that. It seems kind of willy nilly on the who did what.
Right.
Yeah. And now I think a long time ago, in my opinion anyway, what I kind of thought I saw was that they were just trying to sell tickets to a museum.
Oh,
Yeah. And now they're not. It's just, now it's a popularity contest and like an argument of who's there and who isn't, but nobody can go anymore. So nobody really knows, because I've seen some of the displays and I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. I'd like to go. I'd like to go see it. Just be like, oh,
just for the history. Yeah.
Yeah. Look at that guitar. Look at this, wow. Look at Ginger Baker's, drums.
Same reason I still seek out like a Hard Rock Cafe.
Right.
I don't care about the Hard Rock Cafe itself. I like to see all the shit that's there.
Right. Ooh, look, there's Janet Jackson's nipple guarded on the fucking Super Bowl.
Yeah, what's that? That one in Seattle that Paul Allen owned. We played there once. EMP or whatever, the Jimi Hendrix, like Frank Gehry building. It looks like it's melting and stuff. It was full. Full of artifacts and stuff too.
Yeah, I'll admit I'm a sucker for that shit. It's fun to see.
Yeah, but they don't let you play with it.
Right.
No problem, man.
Do you know who I am? Podcast, goddammit.
So I saw the Melvins and I saw Jeff Pincus was doing it too. They all got to play on that, just tinkle on that Peter Green guitar that was worth a gazillion dollars a few months ago. They played something at the Hollywood Bowl for, might have been for Chris Cornell or something, but they all, for some reason, somebody was there with that guitar and I was like, oh my God, and they were getting to actually play it, not just look at it through a glass case. I was like, that's pretty cool, dude.
Right.
That is cool. I get nervous about shit like that. I don't think I'd want to touch it.
Oh, my luck, I'd definitely drop it.
Yeah, I'd be the one. Fuck
That
it
would
up.
be terrifying.
For sure.
Yeah.
Give me an itch on my nose and just that'd be the viral video.
Usually I just spill coffee on everything though, so I think coffee comes off.
Yes. No, thank you.
Yep.
I won't play with Prince's white guitar or whatever, so coffee on there.
Yeah. Yep. Some things better left untouched.
White Shroud of Turin.
Oh, it's cold in here. Let me get that blanket open.
I tried to go in Mexico and see that they don't bust it out though. When you go there, they have their version of the Shroud of Turin there outside of Mexico City.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
But I think it only comes out at certain times or something. I stood around for a while and was hoping it would come. It's like a virgin. It's a Virgin de Guadalupe version of the Shroud of Turin, and it got burned in there in 1500 something or whatever. But I was really hoping it would, and they wouldn't let me bring coffee in, obviously. So it was cool. But they never came out. And they got there. It's this big, huge shrine. It's the holiest place in Mexico, or whatever. But they have you're walking around the grounds. This is power of popular music in a weird way for me. Is they had one little grotto that was for St. Jude, and they're playing a version of Hey Jude in Spanish.
Sweet.
And they also had another grotto that had Let It Be or something. I was like, oh my gosh, and Lennon and McCartney are right up here with St. Jude and Jesus and stuff. And it was really ironic, It was like, wow, John Lennon wasn't joking around.
He is bigger than
He's
Jesus.
just right up there with him. He's the background music, I was like, wow, way to go. And it was like Muzak versions. It wasn't, the actual songs, but it was cool. I took a little, audio sample because really.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Excuse me, senor. Where's the Eye on the Walrus Grotto?
I only had two. I poked around. I couldn't think of anything else to have. But it was like on one of the Virgin Mary statues, they had a, Let It Be, and then they had a Hey Jude. I was like, wow, this guy's really made it big.
Oh, man.
I popped in for a souvenir, because all those cool souvenirs. Virgin de Guadalupe on my shirt.
Right. Well, man, Nathan, we don't want to keep you all night. Hey, I want you to give a chance, or to get a chance to plug your shit though, and where people could buy it and stuff like that. As we were talking about our pandemic issue.
Basically, we're just Bandcamping it. We are the Asteroid at Bandcamp, and you can find us on social media, and we'll always sell you something. We are on all the streaming services and shit like that. All the iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, whatever. But we sell physical merchandise pretty much only through Bandcamp. And during this pandemic, we have taken to local record stores and a couple clubs and a couple art galleries and donated records where you can buy there, and they get to keep the money. So it's kind of a way to do our small part to help. And those places are on our social media stuff too.
Right.
Upcoming covers of Hey Jude and Let It Be.
No, I wouldn't touch those.
Yeah. No, I do have to mention for my buddy Tony Willis for Forbidden Place Records.
Those
they
guys
are doing
are great.
Yes,
they don't have any more copies of the record they put out for us.
Okay,
they were greatly appreciated putting out the final version of our first record, and there is talk that they will put out the vinyl version of our second one, which never came out on vinyl.
Record. Yeah, that's what he was talking to me about. Tony's a great guy.
We need to have those guys.
Both those guys are awesome. They really are.
Cale and Tony, great fucking guys. Great label. I mean, you crawl across that label, every band is a killer.
Yeah, it's hard to
killer.
You don't meet as many guys like that as you wish there were. They really just want to put shit out, and they fucking love the hell out of it, and they're funny, and it's like we didn't meet them until after it was done, and then we met them up in Dubuque, where Cale's from, and it was a hoot, you know, and you're like, oh, these guys really just care about music and want to put out as much as they can. They're not real genre specific. They're not country specific or.
Oh yeah.
All
over the globe.
I really love those guys. That's some severe punishment to take for music to keep doing that. And,
they love what they do and getting that out there,
because that's difficult. You know, you gotta make the product and see if the band stays together, and then try to sell the product and then make another product, and it's
right. And they have full-time jobs on top of
that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, stand-up cats, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm glad they hooked us up, because they are definitely. I want to plug them as much as possible, because they're putting out Gary's old band. They might have sold out of it though. Ed Hall, when Gary was in trance, and they made a record that trance deemed at the time. This isn't your best work kind of thing, and so they called it Permission to Rock Denied, and that title stuck. It's coming out, and that's great. And I was listening to the local radio the other day, and some guest DJ was on something, and I heard this song, and it popped out. I was like, wow, that fucking sounds awesome. And it was Ed Hall. I was like, oh, it's Gary. And it was off one of their Boner records, and that's the real reason why we got to, well, one of the reasons we got to go on tour with the Melvins a couple years ago is, Frank's good friends with Jeff, and he was in the Melvins at the time, and I've known him for a long time, but really it was Gary's connection. Buzz loves Gary's, guitar playing from their time when they were both on Boner, and that kind of really helped a lot. It's amazing after all these years, we'll go somewhere and, how many people saw Ed Hall open for the Butthole Surfers, or, it's just weird, different times, and how that comes back to help us. All the touring those guys toured for like 8 or 10 years straight. So it was kind of, a lot of shows in a lot of places. And same with Frank when he did that Paintings, they were kind of like cusp of things when they were riding. So those guys, it's cool to play with them. I always like playing with these super guitarists, and Gary's definitely one of them. Frank's a really great drummer.
Yeah. Oh man, also your Halloween cuts. Amazing. Gotta love that.
That's part of this new thing we got, where we can go and just make up something and record it that day. Like, do everything right, record, and just do it all in a day. And that's like, we did that with all those songs, and it was really fun. And we're going to do a bunch more of that right now. We're going to work on something new. And like, I'm not going to totally lie. Like, we come back and maybe throw a guitar on it or something, but it basically it got done in a day, and maybe with one day follow-up.
Wow.
So that's a really fun way to do stuff. And the way we're set up right now, we can do that. And it kind of gets rid of procrastination over you just got to blow it out. And that's fun.
Yeah.
Kind of a throwback to when bands just, okay, you're off the road for a week now, make a record and get back out there.
Exactly.
Because,
it's all good stuff, though, man. Yeah, definitely. Everybody who's listening, check out "We Are the Asteroid" on Bandcamp. What a wonderful world! The Halloween cuts. Hopefully, that second album reissue comes out on.
Tony Cale, that'd be great. Let's make.
Yeah,
I think it was supposed to be. I haven't sent him the updated artwork, so that's my fault. But I think they're talking about sometime next year. But they have such a full slate of releases.
Yeah, Jesus, a lot of bands. And just check out the Forbidden Place Records catalog in general. I've told people before, man, if people ask me, what do you listen to? I say, throw a dart at this board of everybody they have, and you will get a winner.
And especially a shout out to our Italian friends and tour mates, Canny Siori, who they've put out a couple of their records now, and they're great. They're a lot of fun and really a good band to see and hear. And that's one of the things I think is cool, that people are willing to explore music that's not in their native language, or because there's a lot of great stuff out there, and it's just not put to your face that often. So
right, and we kind of sound like a broken record with this, but if you think there's no good music, no good new music being put out there, you're just not.
You don't know where to look.
Yeah.
Forbidden Place is a good place to look.
It's
it really is.
With the advent of technology and the affordability of, as you guys probably know, the microphone in front of you is a lot cheaper than it would have been 30 or 40 years ago.
Yeah.
It's just made it amazing for people. If they want to express their creativity, they can. There's a lot out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. We've been amazed by what we've been able to do with a not so expensive microphone and internet connection.
I know.
Yes. And limited talent.
Tell me exactly. I got the same problem.
All right.
On that note, you've been listening to Undetermined, the podcast with Nathan Calhoun. Thanks, Nathan.
Hey, y'all have a good night.
Thank you.
It was fun.
All right.